Connection with Shade Network activated. Audio file download commencing. Files marked extremely sensitive. Strategic Homeland Division only. Agent, commencing transmission.
What's up, agents? You listen to episode 163 of SITREP Radio, giving you the news and other happenings in the world of the Division 2. This week we get news from E3 on what's coming in the DLC episodes for the Division 2. But first, my name is Mike, and joining me, as always, are my co-hosts Robert.
Hello.
And Luke.
Hello.
Hope you guys are well and have had a great week, and welcome to any new listeners of the show. Over to you, Luke.
Just first up, there's a free weekend coming, so if you don't own the Division 2 yet, or some of your friends don't, have always wanted to try it, from June 13th through to Sunday, June 16th on all platforms, it's a free weekend. If you decide you want to purchase the game afterwards, not only will you keep all your free weekend progress, but you can also take advantage of discounts up to 40% on the Uplay store.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah. Cheap shit. Everybody likes cheap shit, right?
I have to get another account.
Does that mean... does that include PlayStation?
I said all platforms.
Get an account from a Stadia.
Yeah, for your Stadia.
That I'm not going to buy.
Well, we'll talk about that later. Anyway, let's get down to the news, boys. Okay, so this week on the State of the Game, Hamish was joined by Rasmus from the crafting team to discuss some of the changes on the PTS. Not that Rasmus.
Wow, that was throwing it way back.
Sorry, I had to do that.
That's fine. That's pretty much the only song they brought out, right?
No, my wife still listens to them. Apparently they're really good now.
As opposed to before when they weren't.
I really want to Google that and find out how long ago that is so I can go, it took X amount of years to get that good, but
yeah,
I feel like that's a different podcast that we're going to be doing that on. Anyway, speaking of PTS, the PTS will actually close this Friday, I believe, 14th of June, and Title Update 4 is going to be dropping next week.
Woo!
However, there are no details as and when that's going to drop. I'm guessing early next week, boys.
Yeah. 3.1 was on the Monday, wasn't it? So I'd say Monday or Tuesday.
And yeah, we haven't got any full details on that just yet, but I expect full patch notes somewhere next week. I'm just getting news in now that apparently that track was from 2011. So I'm going to leave Luke to do the maths while we kind of move on with the news, figure out how long it's took them to get good.
8 years. Yeah.
Am I the fucking maths person for SITREP Radio now after last week's failed build?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that build died on its horse, by the way, from last week. So
also, it took them 8 years to get good. Who the hell is still listening to a band after 8 years that was... I'm not going any further with that.
Mrs. Rob Hemsley, apparently.
Well, yeah, apparently. I don't want to hurt your other half's feelings, so...
It's fine, she won't listen to this.
That's fine. Let's tell about signature weapon balancing. Let's be honest, the State of the Game today, we kind of covered, I felt, most of it last week.
Yeah.
Would you agree,
the week
boys?
Before.
We were ahead of the curve last week, weren't we?
Yeah, we were quite ahead of the curve this week. I was like, yeah? Didn't we discuss this last week? And this one, and this one? Or at least we're seeing stuff pop up on Reddit, which is quite interesting, that they're now actually talking about in the State of the Game. Obviously, not all of the things they can talk about in the State of the Game, but it's nice to see certain things kind of popping up. First of all, is signature weapon balancing. There was a lot of complaints by the community, basically saying that signature weapons weren't doing as much damage, and I believe the gunner wasn't last week when they first kind of dropped it. And it was meant to have been buffed. I haven't been back on the PTS to check it myself, but apparently the goal is to buff the signature weapons to make them viable in the game. So by the time PTS ends and Title Update 4 drops next week, hopefully they're in a good position. ready to kind of go.
Yeah.
Robert, gear mods. What's happening with gear mods?
Okay, so generic gear mods could be stacked. This is no longer a thing. Generic mods, blue mods, purple mods can't be equipped on high-end or exotic gear anymore. Boo, rip.
Good change.
Yeah. It's a good change, actually, because, Mike, why are you waving at me?
I just thought I'd say hi. Well, we discussed this last week. They're changing it. You can basically put red mod in a red slot, blue mod in a blue slot.
Yeah, they're simplifying it.
Doesn't matter. So
Yeah.
hopefully it's going to make it more diverse. You don't got to worry at all about it. So it's going to be a lot easier for you once you hit end game and all the rest of it.
I know. I think we originally thought this was going to be a bit of a dial back on most people's builds, didn't we? Because you're losing 5, 10, 15, like 20% weapon damage if you got the right blue mods in the right slots on the right build. But our good friend Boris has got the AR crit build done up with the Eagle Bearer, and on his PTS, his live game character was copied over to the PTS just as he got the Eagle Bearer. So that build is in the PTS. So with the new mod system in place, his build is actually better with the new mod system.
Yes, because he never farmed blue mods.
Yeah.
One thing I will, quick tip, if you ever get Alps gloves with a passive talent on it, keep them. Okay.
Just something kind of continuing from last week. Didn't actually get to say it on reflection because I did listen back to last week's episode. I had a bit of free time towards the end of last week. I went to crawling back again, so I checked out a few podcasts. I checked out Bombshell Jackets. I checked out Locked On Boys to hear their raid talk as well, which was quite interesting. I don't know if Luke's got any thoughts about that before we end the show today, but something I was trying to say last week is the fact that they've gone straight out there and gone, you know what, we're going to change the mod system. I think is quite a big thing to do, and it kind of going back to what they did with the weapon mods. The whole like they tried to do one thing with the weapon mods, it didn't work. They changed it. Yeah, it's absolutely fine. And I feel like this is another step of them. They've tried doing it one way, it didn't work. It was overcomplicated to some degree, and then it's obviously leading more people to farm for general mods and all the rest of it. And they've gone, you know what? It didn't work. We're going to change it. And I think that's a huge step for them to do. And I like the fact that they're looking into this constantly and they're willing to make big changes like this, because I do feel like it is a big change, because it's, you know, like Rob's just said, it's going to change people's builds completely.
Yeah. It's quite brave as well to change something that ingrained in the game. You know, after, what was it, 3 months? Must have been some behind the scenes work going on quite feverishly to get this done between TU3 and TU4. Obviously for the mod changes, the gear mods were in for TU2, I think. TU3 at least.
It's going to hit on the ropes builds quite hard as well. Just saying.
Doesn't bother me. Don't use that.
No,
don't like that talent.
Damn it. That's me screwed then.
Is it?
Yeah, I use on the ropes.
Okay.
But
Was that on your pulse build?
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you're using a pulse and you've got a
10-second
you use
cooldown.
that. You use that to create more damage without.
It's basically
having
so I'm
blue mods.
constantly so I'm constantly dealing damage either whether my skills are on cooldown or whether I'm using my pulse. So it doesn't matter. I don't know.
But a lot of people
it's
were
any good.
abusing that with blue mods. They were putting blue generic mods in
To get the additional weapon damage.
to get extra weapon damage in the utility slot. So
Yeah, when you break it down like that, you were getting weapon damage when the game thought you were running a skill mod.
Yes,
kind of doesn't work as intended. Does
I mean,
it?
those
Let's be
builds
honest.
might
about
come back like strong as hell because they're on about trying to improve the skill builds, aren't they?
Yes,
And having 7 attributes towards skills, you can get quite a lot of skill power. So that's
What's your actual skill? If you can remember, Mike, what's your skill power on your 10-second cooldown pulse build?
I think it's 1900.
Yeah,
off the top of my head.
Pretty decent.
Thing is, I could get it high. I think I got higher than that, but there's no point.
Yeah.
There's literally no point.
Diminishing returns.
Yeah, there's literally no point. And I think I even got a battery mod, and that was just a complete waste of time because I'm losing one of my slots on shit. I can't remember which one.
Pulse?
Was it my Hive? It was one of them. I can't remember which one it was. I can't remember. Does the Pulse have a battery slot or not?
Yeah, battery goes into any slot. Literally.
Yeah, but some of them actually have a specific slot for them.
No, they don't.
Whereas I don't think do they
No,
not?
they don't. The battery fits into any slot.
It's a shame that they don't have a specific slot though. That would be better because then you're still allowed to use
The whole point
the cooldown.
is you use the battery instead of using a mod.
I know, but
Yeah.
then you're limiting. Do you know what I mean? You're trying to get higher skill powers. You instead of running 2 mods that, for example, could reduce your cooldown time, you're basically buffing it to try and get a slight increase on cooldown time. Anyway, do you know what I mean?
I don't think the battery mods were aimed at your sort of build, though, were they?
Yeah, they're
more
more
aimed
designed
at,
to people that haven't got any utilities.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can still proc some
when you're
skills.
running as much skill power as you your best bet is to spec into the mods that require, like you said, 1900 or 1800 skill power, whatever.
Yeah, because I guarantee you some of your mods have got X amount of pulse power instead of loads of skill power.
Yes, yeah, I've definitely got one of those, and I think it was just from my point of view, it was kind of like, well, because I've got cooldown mods on there, and it was like, well, I can either put 2 cooldown mods that obviously run at a reduced skill power. You know, they don't need to hit like a certain requirement, or I can put like the battery on, get the skill power up, but then I'm basically running like a lesser mod instead of running 2 of the cooldowns, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
So instead of running 2, I can't talk today, general. Instead of running 2 mods that can give me a better cooldown, that actually overall would give me a higher cooldown rating than a single mod and a battery. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It just seemed absolutely pointless to run it. I was like, whoa.
Because of the way that skill power scales.
Yeah.
It doesn't scale.
Yeah. But then, like you guys have clearly pointed out, it's not for my type of build. It's for people that don't have any skill power at all. And, you know, you're not going to be after cooldown, or like a fast cooldown or anything like that, where you might be wanting to reduce it, but you're not going to get nowhere near the return on investment if you've got basically no skill power. Not as much. Not that much, anyway.
Yeah. Correct.
Yeah, that was just my 2 cents on the game mod change. Just the fact that it's a huge change, and I'm glad they're doing something like that. They're not afraid to make big changes. It's nice to see. Okay, something we actually talked about last week. We talked about named items. Rasmus basically went into it and said it was a way of adding, am I right in saying, weapons and gear that would kind of have had their own what does Highlander call it? It's like their own taste or something like that, doesn't he? But they didn't want them to be exotics.
It's like a curated role.
Yes,
I'd say. Yeah.
But the fact is, you know, they still follow the same stat rules as normal weapons and gear. And they've got a slightly different visual upgrades compared to the other ones. But I mean, we talked about this last week with regards to, I can't remember the name of, was it the Schleiner or something like that? The MG5, named MG5 that's been added with the Frenzy talent. They're ready for you to craft, and I'm not even going to try pronouncing the LMG chest with Berserk on it, which is the only chest with Berserk on it in the game.
No,
it's not the only chest, is it?
No, it's we got that completely and utterly wrong
Did
last
we?
week. Yeah, the picture that you pulled off of Reddit was from the crafting bench, not a created version of said chest. So when you create that chest, the Berserk is locked.
Yes.
So you can't use it because it's not an LMG talent. So why is it on a Petrov chest.
Oh, but then it's PTS at the end of the day, so it could have been broken.
It may change in the live game, yes, but I'm not holding my breath.
No, that's fine.
If they
That's
don't
good.
change it, I'm going to be a little bit annoyed.
That doesn't make any sense if they do leave it like that.
Correct.
Yes, this is what me, Luke, and Boris were trying to figure out the other day.
Unless it's a way of, if you want to run like an AR and an LMG at the same time, it's to kind of buff up, because obviously they've changed the specialization skill tree, haven't they?
No, it doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't. But then
I agree, it makes no sense. I kind of see what Mike's saying, but credit to Boris again, because it was him who put the time and the effort into unlocking the chest and the PTS with the tree that with the quest that you have to follow to unlock the pieces on the gunner tree.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can create a Petrov chest with Berserk always in the top that is still locked to the weapons that Berserk is supposed to be used for, which is not an LMG. Petrov is the chest piece that gives you 10% LMG damage for one brand talent, so it's kind of pointless. However, you can take Berserk off that chest.
Yes, which is something that I did say last week, and we were definitely unsure of. No, the only thing I was going to say is obviously the specialization. They've changed it so you can now spec into whatever weapon, like additional, was it up to 15%? I believe it's 15%.
Can't remember the percentages, but you're right. Yeah, you can spec into 3 weapon archetypes of your choice on any specialization.
Shotgun, LMG, pistol. Obviously, most people are going to probably run that as standard.
Still doesn't make any sense.
No, I know, but I also know that Rob has run. I don't know if obviously you've changed your builds several times since we started the raid, but I remember back then you were running a build where you were like, that damage doesn't matter.
What?
That additional damage doesn't matter as much from the whatever gear piece that is meant to be working for additional weapon damage, or
that was Unstoppable Force.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure you were running a build with a different chest because it had better stats, but it didn't necessarily go with the weapons that you had at the time.
Yes.
Does that make sense? So,
yeah,
I kind of feel like this is another one of those cases where
I really would like to pick the brains of the person who made the decision to put Berserk on that chest piece, because it's coming from the challenges. I want to call them challenges, but that you are trying to unlock the gunner, right? The gunner is predominantly an LMG based, because the mag you get from it, is from an LMG, right? So it's predominantly an LMG based specialization. Petrov is a predominantly based LMG chest piece because of the first talent being 10% LMG damage.
So this is the bit where Rob jumps in and goes,
then
why the
fuck are you putting a talent on it that's constant, that doesn't work with LMGs? It just doesn't make it. I was racking my brains trying to, I even asked Boris to try the specialization weapon to see if it would proc Berserk, and it doesn't. So I don't understand why that decision was made. It's as if they just picked one at random and just chucked it on there. It kind of winds me up a little bit.
Thylander, if you're listening, can you please?
He's the weapons guy, not the armor guy. But he might know who made the decision.
He's not going to tell you if he does.
Flick him in the ear. What are you doing?
What are you doing? No, it's quite interesting that you guys brought that up, because obviously it's the PTS. Nothing's really confirmed at that point.
Subject to change. So
yeah, they could literally just turn around and say that. We'll see what happens next week.
That's why I said at the start of the podcast that build that we made live on the episode last week died on its arse, because it was based around Berserk working all the time on an LMG.
Force would make more sense.
So yeah,
just saying.
Rip the dream.
Right, so if we remove Berserk from the equation, what does that now give us, Luke?
Fuck off. I've had this discussion with so many people already this week. Like Rob again, other people in our Discord, Boris in Discord and on stream and off stream. I can't be bothered to go through the numbers again. Just forget about it.
Was Boris just like, Luke, you were wrong?
When we were discussing it, it was more about the rate of fire. The Berserk was just an extra 50% damage.
But yeah, but
like at no armor, so
the rate of fire is not that. The extra damage was the better bit of the build, and then you were putting it out quicker because you were getting 1100, 1200 RPM. Fuck off, Mike.
I love it. You get
The problem now is you're just getting a really fast firing MG5 that's still shit. Doesn't make any difference.
But at least with the new specialization, you've got all the bullets now.
Yes. Takes nothing away from the specialization. The specialization still looks fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be god tier for every weapon type.
I would have played the PTS. I'm going to be honest. I would have played the PTS more and tried out the specialization more if we'd have had the points enabled to actually spec the skill tree.
Yeah, which they said they were going to do and they never did. Unless they have.
Unless they have now, but
I believe they did, but only if you created a brand new character in the PTS. I think.
Okay, that wouldn't take that long then.
I might be wrong. Please don't quote me on that if I'm wrong. Somebody fucking will. But I'm pretty sure I read in Discord today that if you created a brand new character on the PTS, it gave you all the points.
Well, if you're listening now, you have like 24 hours to try it before it gets shut down.
I mean, that's long enough for some people, right?
Yes. I was going to throw an innuendo in there. I was like, I'm not saying
I was getting
anything.
ready. I was getting ready to say that's what she says.
Yeah, and they talked about the new exotic holster. Rob's gagging to get at. Yeah, Dodge City. Yeah, you're like, sorry, gnashing, chomping.
I still never found out whether the equipped means equipped or in your hand.
Well, what is it for Berserk? Because it would be the same, right?
What do you mean?
Berserk only procs on the gun that's in your hand.
Because it says
why would it proc on anything else?
Yeah.
No, but there is other instances in the game where equip just means it's one of your slots, yeah, definitely still works.
Just trying to think of an example and can't.
No, like all the pistol talents and stuff, like holstered and equipped are pretty much the same thing.
But yeah, we did discuss this last week, so this is like old news now. So yes, the Dodge City Gunslinger's exotic holster will be coming in title update for next week. And this is completely unconfirmed, but we did say, well, Thylander technically talked about it last week. He was like, oh yeah, there's some knees out there. I'm going to say now, this is completely unconfirmed. It's looking like it might have been data mined, but it was posted on Reddit, so it's got to be true, right, boys?
Gotta be.
Yeah.
This is the second week in a row we're using some
dodgy ass.
some PTS-based information from Reddit that's going to shoot us in the arse a week later.
Oh, Reddit's the
toilet bowl of the internet.
The toilet bowl of the internet. There's some nice people on there.
No, there isn't.
Yeah, stop lying, Mike.
I don't know what you're talking about. Rob, do you want to go through the talents on the new
Sawyer's knee pads? Is that Sawyer from Lost?
That is Sawyer from Lost. That's why we haven't been able to find him yet.
So does it give you like long, luscious locks of hair?
That is the first talent, yeah.
Talent 1, jammer skill charge rate is increased by 80%. That's pretty good.
Be good in the raid.
Yeah, it would be actually.
This is what's making me kind of think, is this made up? Like even the Reddit post that this came from. Yeah, the Reddit post this came from was like, is this real or did someone make this up?
Talent 2, first wave tech. Disruption effects now destroy hostile skill proxies. What the fuck does that mean?
I'm wondering if that's not the things from the docs, is it? Skill proxies? Because technically, the buddy, when he drops the skills or whatever, would that count?
Does it not mean like drones?
Was
like
hostiles...
Like the lightning guys put out drones, don't they? Does it destroy them rather than... Well, it did anyway, I thought. No, it didn't. I don't know. I have to test it.
I would assume it's any hostile that deploys a skill, right?
Yeah. Does that include the engineers that put out 25s?
Oh.
And the engineers that poop out RC cars?
Yes. They squat around the corner and you just see
They literally do, dude. It comes out of their bum. Where else would it come?
Wow, welcome to SITREP Radio, where we constantly talk about bums and asses and stuff going in and out of
Also, after
people's
staying in
asses.
cover for 4 seconds, you gain the lead by example buff.
Ooh.
Talent 3. Lead by example, who would have thought? While cover swapping, all bullets that hit you are deflected towards the origin, dealing no damage to you. Completing the cover-to-cover move with this buff active consumes the buff, giving the player bonus armor and releases a disruption effect. The amount of bonus armor and radius of the disruption is based off the distance traveled. Specialization weapons are not reflected by this buff. So that would
Did you read
suggest
the
it's
fourth
active.
talent as well?
I can't see that. It's not on. I can't see it.
I'll read it out. Pass go, collect $200.
Oh, you made
Because
that
when
up.
you read this shit out, it sounds like you're reading Monopoly cards. Not you, but like some of the way these
But that sounds really good. But the fact that they've put specialization weapons are not reflected means. Does that mean it's viable in PvP as well?
yes. That would be really good in
Because
PvP because of the
You're not going to
disruption
get
effect.
shot by specialization weapons unless you're in PvP, right?
Yes. That's very fucking good. Yeah. Well, the second talent to me would be really good. Because the disruption would destroy hostile skill proxies, so you would take out the other person's drone if they're running like deflector drone.
Yeah.
Defender.
Defender.
Yeah. Or their medic drone as well. That's pretty. If this is real, I mean, this is data mined, potentially made up.
No, it seems legit.
Okay, but I mean, we've seen stuff turn up in the division before it's meant to be. So this was probably intended for like title update 5 or something like that.
And they've had cover to cover stuff in the first game, didn't they? They had that what was it
holster that was
called?
broken for a while.
You could use a sniper and you could cover to cover and it'd give you so much damage. Which used to use it all the time.
Yeah,
Get,
I know which one you
stupid
mean.
headshots.
There was the holster that gave you health back on cover to cover as well. That was broken as fucking PvP, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Right, okay, so moving on very quickly, they've made improvements to the weekly invasion rewards. If you are gear score 500, you should now, as expected, as you should rightly expect to get gear score 500 items rewarded to you. We talked about it a little bit earlier, but the auxiliary mods, if you have an auxiliary bod, then you should probably get that looked at. But the battery mods, the icon is now going to reflect what the skill looks like. And finally, they did talk about blueprints being shared across characters. It's not actually, it's not going to be added into Title Update 4, but they're kind of looking into it. I mean, they did actually state about why they haven't shared these things, didn't they, Rob?
Yeah, Rasmus was like, they want each new character to have the fresh character feel. And he also went into saying they could introduce like a question. What are you doing, Mike? You can introduce a question when you first create that character, like, do you want a fresh character or do you want to share mats with the original character? Which I think would be a great idea. As long as you could activate it any time, because I don't want to have to delete my characters to get to do that. But yeah, but like it kind of makes sense. Like some people will want to have the fresh character feel every time they create a new character, won't they?
The other thing is, it's like Luke, not calling you out, Luke, but every time something happens, we're like, the game's been out 2.5 months, and now you want to share everything, have everything like we did, 2-3 years in on the Division 1, and it's what is it, Luke? It's too soon, would you say?
It would be nice though, because I've literally this week got all the mods on my main character.
With the mods, I can kind of understand people's frustrations because there are so fucking many of them.
Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah,
I learned something new today as well. I'll wait for Luke to finish.
Go for it. I'm finished.
You know how it says 93 mods? There's not 93 mods. There's more than that. If you count them, it's wrong.
When did you have time to count?
No, I was watching a stream and someone was like, I finished all the mods, and then he went through and counted them and was like, hang on a minute.
That's even worse. You sat there and watched somebody else count.
It says there's like 32 mags, and there's actually 34. And there's like each, and then apart from that, all the rest of the slots have like an extra one. So there's like an extra maybe 5 or 6 that just aren't on the list, or like they're not counted in the numbers.
Right. So instead of 93, there's closer to 100.
So there might not be 93. There could be a lot more. We just don't know about them.
It's just a placeholder, Rob.
Like, because there's extra ones. Oh, it's confusing. You know what I mean?
So
like you could still farm for mods and still get more mods, but
you
even
could
if you're
be
sat at
thinking you're done.
93, yeah.
See what you mean? If you've got the 93 that it says on the...
Yeah.
If you're that person that gets all 93 in the right order,
I think it's the
technically still missing.
It might be the secret 5 that aren't on the list, maybe.
That would make sense.
Yeah, it would make sense, wouldn't it?
Kind of. Although surely if you'd unlocked them, it would then...
count them, but I don't think it does.
You are at 96 of 93. You broke the game.
Yeah, that would just, computer would break itself, wouldn't it?
Hacker.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that they haven't counted those ones, like once you've unlocked them as secret, but I suppose that's a problem with the UI then?
Yeah.
Because they're not counting those mods, otherwise it would give you 93 out of 93, and then that's really... Yeah, when you think about it that way, it's kind of fucked up. Luke, okay, so we've got some known issues going on in the community. Very quickly, can we have some news on that?
Yeah, a couple of these have been mentioned before. So last week they mentioned about the bullet registration in the shooting range being somewhat broken. This is still a work in progress, and there are no new updates to this at the moment. I've seen reports of people on Twitter telling certain devs that this is not actually just exclusive to the shooting range, but we've had no official confirmation or recognition of that as yet.
Yeah, I saw some posts on Reddit. People were saying the same thing. So, yeah.
Immunity to damage in PvP whilst using medkits. They are aware of this issue and it is currently being investigated. For those people that were good enough to complete the raid during the first week of its release, that still haven't received their first week raid completion patch, the partial fix for this was introduced last week. They are still working on a full fix. So if you are one of the unlucky people that didn't get the patch that you were worthy of, it will come eventually.
That'll make Foxy happy, won't it?
Yes. And some players still can't craft gear score 500 exotic weapons, even though they are gear score 500. They are also aware of this issue, and it is currently being investigated. Mike?
Yeah, I think we kind of discussed this last week, but I think if you're in World Tier 5, you should be really crafting gear score 500 weapons by now, and gear. Because, like, what's the maximum? It's like 490, or at least have a chance at rolling.
Careful. You're talking about exotics and normal gear as the same thing.
In general, I meant. Not.
No, I agree with Mike. I think we should be able to. I think there should be a 490 to 500 bracket.
Yeah.
But,
because we did discuss this last week. We were like, why the fuck, we're at end game now. Why can't we? I can understand why. It's just, it's to basically prevent people a little bit, isn't it? It's that kind of stopgap so you can go out and farm the loot.
So I get why people are pissed off that they can't craft exotics at gear score 500 and it be guaranteed to be gear score 500. I mean, let's be fucking real about it. They're exotic weapons. It took you a good bit of grind to get them. Especially the craftable ones. So yes, be rewarded with a 500 one. I agree with the pair of you, but slightly agree with Rob a bit more on the crafted thing, where he said a 490 to 500 bracket.
Yeah, that's obviously a better way of doing it.
I don't think you should be guaranteed 500 gear crafted items, because then you could cheese it.
Yeah, well, this is why I'm saying have like a random roll. You're going to get a random roll, and I think you're going to get a random roll as it is, I believe. Well,
the current bracket on your high-end craftables is 450 to 490, if I'm not mistaken.
So what I'm saying is just bump it up to 500.
The trouble is, right, once we've all got fairly decent... Well, the thing is, once we've got all the mods, right, because at the moment, a lot of people are using their materials to get the mods, especially that daily, right, because that's annoying. Once everyone's got all the mods, and you've you've got builds that you don't really want to re-roll or touch, what are the mats going to be useful? You're not going to get then just not going to bother hoarding mats, are you? You're just going to sell stuff. Because what's the point? Because you can't craft anything anywhere near your build. It kind of eliminates crafting from the game if after a while.
Which is why this shouldn't be like you shouldn't be able to roll 500 gears straight away or whatever till we end up being in the future, but you should have at least a chance of at least getting near there, and exotics should be there pretty much straight away because you've, like Luke said, you farmed for them, you've put your hard work in to actually get them, and then you're getting like a lower tier exotic out of it at the end of the day. And
you have to deconstruct an exotic to make another exotic, so
yes, that's a bit of a bitch. Anyway, moving on. Obviously, the E3 hype train rolled in this Monday during the Ubisoft conference as a whole host of games was shown. But I'm going to be honest, I think the standout for us was probably The Division.
Shocking news.
It did mean we finally got some details on what's coming in year one of DLC content for The Division 2. Very quickly, guys, I want your thoughts on the year one DLC trailer.
We were in chat at the time, weren't we? Because we were trying to. Well, we all agreed.
Raiding it this
we all agreed to raid, which was a stupid idea because nobody really wanted to raid, and everybody was just watching E3 on their second on their second monitors. But yeah, when the trailers dropped, everybody was just like, "Right, stop, shush, everybody, shut up." So yeah, I mean, it grabbed all of our attention at the very, very least. I actually quite enjoyed all the info from Division 2 at E3. Thought it was quite well presented. Tip of the hat to Mr. Spear.
Yeah.
Looking casual as fuck, but yeah, working it.
Yeah, I did see a lot of people on Twitter being like, "What the fuck is that? Is that Terry Spear?"
He's had his haircut, so it threw everybody out, didn't it? The mohawk's gone.
Yeah, you can't cut that out though, dude. You have to grow it out.
Well, I didn't say cut it out. I said he's had his hair cut.
Yeah. I'm just being pedantic.
You're being a cunt. That's what you're doing.
100%, dude. Rob, what were your thoughts on the year one DLC trailer?
I really enjoyed it. The images we saw when there's like 3 agents standing there, and it flicks through loads of different areas. I was like, yeah, wow, there's loads of content. And then it dawned on me that that's probably
over the year,
not this next update. And then we saw the Coney Island bit, and I was like,
well, we'll talk about that a little bit in a minute. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I was expecting. I don't know. I think I know we're going to talk about this on our Patreon, but I think E3's been a bit of a downer, and I don't know what I was quite expecting from The Division, but I don't think it was a standout. We didn't get that much information at the end of the day, did we?
No, yeah, I agree with that.
We've got a little bit to talk about today, but it's kind of like we've got a release date for the first episode. The first episode, DC Expedition Outskirts, or DC Outskirts Expedition, should I say, is coming in July. So we're only, 2-3 weeks away from July at this point. And, we've got 2 new main missions coming with it. We've got Camp White Oak and Washington National Zoo. Washington National Zoo sounds like it's going to be fucking good. But there wasn't that much information. It still feels like they're trying to keep stuff under wraps.
Yeah, it was more a reiteration of what they said last year, wasn't it, really?
Yeah, it kind of feels like
a little bit more detail, but not much.
Yeah, there's not really much information from this at all.
But then that's good. And it makes you want it more.
To me, that's what E3 always is. It's like, here's a bit of carrot. Come on. You want to taste it.
Did it get that? Did it give you guys that feel? If you were a new player watching this for the first time, would you be like absolutely blown away by that trailer? That's my kind of thoughts on it. And
to be honest,
if it's someone that kind of we play this game, and I'm not doubting what they're bringing us some awesome content. I just kind of felt like it was a little bit underwhelming. If I'd have said to you boys, right, we're going to go to E3 and we're going to fly all that way, would you be a little bit pissed off if you'd have paid for your own flights out there?
Yeah, but I would, but I'd also.
Obviously,
how much
the
were the
experience is
flights?
completely different. Well,
I would also ask you why you're flying all the way to LA to see information on a game that came out last year. You must know at the back of your mind that the presentation for Division 2 was going to be nowhere near as big this year as it was last year.
yes, but
You should have paid your money last year and gone.
the thing that threw me, I think, is the fact that people got more hyped over the episode 3 trailer than anything else. And I can understand that. But
the big thing with episode 3 is it's Coney Island, or Coney Island was shown, and so was the Statue of Liberty. So everybody instantly goes, oh, fucking hell, we're going back to New York.
yes.
Might
spoilers.
not be that, but it looks that way.
I want a raid on Liberty
Oh my
Island.
God, can you imagine a raid in New York?
No,
Well,
on Liberty Island, dude.
well,
Let's
It's
be
still
honest.
in New York.
Timeline. Let's be honest. Timeline wise, it would make sense. We're gonna go through all like what was discussed and the news that's kind of come out since with
we have
regards.
a raid helicopter. We can go wherever the fuck we want.
Yeah, we're gonna be taking that helicopter to the expeditions outside of DC in a couple of weeks, boys. Are you looking forward to that?
What if the very final raid that they announce, and I'm talking like year 3, here's a raid, right, we'll see you in Division 3. The final ever raid takes place in the new city, but they never tell you what city it is.
That's not FM right there, baby.
No, because they still
Put it out
want
there.
the final.
Put it out
If we, all right, spoilers. Episode 3. In theory, we're going back to New York. If I want the final raid to be what we said years ago, I want it to be
Not actually going back
the
to-
raid.
Not actually going back to New York though. We're going to part of New York, but like Coney Island isn't the New York we were in.
It's not New York, New York, it's just New
No.
York State.
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of like they didn't have the licensing for it back then, which doesn't. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't kind of make sense because like the Division 1 doesn't have like a lot of the monument, like certain areas. Yet Washington
Am I right in
DC.
saying that Coney Island isn't actually an island either? Blank looks.
Oh. Never been to New York.
No, me neither.
Flown over it a couple of times. But
Okay. Anyway, do you guys want to go over episode 1?
I thought you'd already gone over it.
Why are we talking about Star Wars?
Yeah. I don't think we can say.
Mr. Jar Jar Binks.
Oh, no. No.
Dobby is a house elf. Oh wait, shit, wrong franchise. Okay,
Shit
so
character.
episode 1, DC Outskirts, aka Expeditions, are going to take agents outside of the city for the first time to explore the surrounding areas and woodlands as they hunt for President Ellis and Emmeline Shaw, the leader of the Outcasts. See, there's like a comma there, and that doesn't make sense. It's as if Emmeline Shaw is the leader of the Outcasts.
She is.
She is.
She is.
Jesus
I must have
Christ.
missed that somewhere in the story. Obviously, the release date is July. I've talked about the missions. I'm going to be honest. I think they're going to knock it out the park with the missions. They've done. I mean, you look at Air and Space Museum. You look at the bunker mission. The actual level design is absolutely amazing. I'm just really kind of interested to see where the story goes from here. I mean, they're on about Camp White Oak. You're going to track down a traitor. Is that going to be the president? Or is that Shaw?
It's your mum.
It could be my mum. Washington, D.C. Washington National Zoo. You're going to hunt down the surviving outcast leader and deal with... Why the fuck am I on about Shaw? Yeah, I was thinking Shaw's from the other thing. But I was thinking Shaw was the agent... God knows why either.
Neo,
Was
the one.
No, not Neo, the one. The agent that you're kind of with... I can't remember her fucking name. Not Odessa, the other one. Do you know what I mean?
I know who you mean. The
Yeah.
female agent that you kind of help a few times in the
You
story.
guys really paid attention during the story.
I can't remember her name either.
No, I can't remember her name, but... Well, Rob, what's her name? Since you paid attention, obviously.
I didn't. I was just pointing out the fact that you guys didn't.
To be honest, when you said about the traitor,
cutscenes. That was all that.
when you said about the traitor, I think it might be her because there's a couple of times in cutscenes when you're with her she gives funny looks.
Yeah, and this is what I was like expecting,
No, like
and that's why I thought that. I was like,
there's a it might be the president as well, because there's like a
trailer out there that
no,
he
not a
basically
trailer. The fucking when we went into World Tier 5, you go into that little bunker, don't you? And you see an echo, and you see the president talking to the leader of the Black Tusks.
Yes.
But isn't that woman there as well? Or they talk about her? Or she's just wrapped around the president's little finger?
It's she's
it rings a
mentioned.
bell,
I can't remember.
but like for some reason I was like President Ellis and Emmeline Shaw. I was like, oh, that must be the agent, and that's why I was questioning the leader of the Outcasts, because I was like, I couldn't remember her name, and I was like thinking they were together. But that's kind of where I felt the story was going towards the end, and I think that Ellis is going to be a bad guy. I mean, I love the fact that they're continuing the story, but I mean, my thoughts on the story are, I'm not really going to go into that today.
It's another lesson they've learned from the first game, though, isn't it? That the story needed to be carried on throughout the life cycle of the game, rather than just, right, here's all the story, we'll give you some other shit later that's not really connected to the story, but you'll enjoy playing it anyway. Yeah,
definitely. I'm quite interested to see what they're going to do in National Zoo, and I don't know how Rob feels about this, but do you think we'll see some like secrets in that in Camp White Oak and Washington National Zoo, like some secret areas and stuff like that?
It's a fully functioning zoo, isn't it? They said
yes.
So like, that's going to be interesting.
Do you think we're going to get jumped by any animals whilst we're?
Possibly.
Can we kill tigers?
Well, no, they're endangered.
Can we go hunting?
For all the people that enjoy killing cats and dogs and birds and eagles and shit, you're just going to walk around the zoo killing bears and snakes.
I was going to say, wait till you find an elephant.
Yeah. Just rock up to the elephant with your gunner specialization out and just...
Kelso. Agent Kelso.
Yeah, Kelso, that was it. I couldn't remember.
Rob.
Thank you, Rob. And then after that, included in episode 1, we have Expeditions mode. This mode is going to confront players with cooperative challenges to take on every week as they progress through different wings of the Trinity College. And this is going to be a new game and play experience that will need exploration, investigation, and logic to uncover the fate of a military convoy gone dark. Plus, there's going to be some unique boss mechanics in there. Yes. How do you feel about this? This is like the bit I thought we were going to get like a trailer for, and we literally got pictures for episode 1 to some degree.
I think this is going to be a little bit like Underground, a little bit like what was it called? What was the game mode in the West Side Piers? Fuck.
Oh, Resistance. Yeah, we did. Yeah,
I think there's going to be a little bit of Resistance in there, and I think they may even take from Prison of Elders.
I was going to say Prison of Elders. Destiny. Okay, so for Luke and the other people that don't know what Prison of Elders are, can you very briefly give an explanation?
It's 5 rounds, 5 different rooms, 3 bosses. You do like you go into a room, you kill a load of ads. There's mechanics. Next room's ads, then a boss. Then another room, ads, mechanics. Another room, boss. Am I going wrong? Boss, mechanics, and then a final boss.
And on completion, like it says in this,
you find some loot.
Yeah, not only you find some loot, but in expeditions that are coming, there's a whole mastery system. If you complete all the challenges that are kind of let out through a ranked system of bronze, silver, and gold, if you manage to get a gold rating in all of the challenges, you will then have access to the final treasure room to earn a variety of rewards. And if I remember right, there's a final treasure room in Prison of Elders.
Yes.
So I was like, is this Prison of Elders? When I spoke to you yesterday?
Yeah.
are they going to rotate the bosses?
Oh, yeah, they could do that. Is it going to be a Skolas that takes fucking forever to kill? Oh my god.
Oh, fuck.
I almost lost my wife playing against Skolas. Bad times.
Where was she? Did you find her again?
No. She almost left me because we were playing it for like 10 hours straight and we still hadn't beaten him.
Okay, let's not lead down that dark path. I feel like that's a road we might not get back from. Luke, what do you think of the expedition mode that we're going to get in episode 1?
Sounds cool. I'm all for different gameplay and new mechanics and unique boss mechanics as well. You know, something that's not just recycled.
Yes,
so
I'm hoping it's raid-like difficulty level as well.
Yeah, something with a bit of challenge to it. I'm quite interested by the use of the words exploration, investigation, and logic.
Yes.
It sounds like there's going to be some puzzles involved to me.
Yeah.
So
like
it might be what we talked about last week that was missing from the raid, and they've dropped it in this instead.
You know the sorry, Mike.
No, it's fine.
You know the contaminated areas.
Yes.
I think they're going to do something like that.
But on a grander scale, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. What did we do through most of the game? The whole community did such a fucking good job as well.
Shoot padlocks from behind.
Apart from that, we explored, we investigated, and then we used logic to bring what to the game?
Hunters.
Yes, hunters. So that is the style. Yeah.
No. Yeah, but they would have said if there's going to be
No. I'm not saying we're getting hunters, but I think we're going to get that kind of, exploration, investigation, logic. I kind of want hunters.
I'm disappointed.
Are they going to rotate the hunters? I mean, there's 8 hunters, and they've got different mechanics as well. This doesn't mean shit. How many times did Skolas come back?
True.
How many times have you done the raid now? You've blown up that Razorback. How many times you killed Boomer?
It's a machine. You can fix a machine.
What about Boomer? Is he a machine?
True. You might just have lots of cousins with the same name.
Is he an exoskeleton sent back through time?
No.
How do you know that?
Maybe. I don't know.
Why don't you know?
I haven't really thought about it.
You don't know. What do you guys think of the mastery system?
Yeah, it's great. You get more loot if you play it better.
But it's individually based as well.
Oh.
So and that's in a group. So if you play shit in a group.
Oh man, that sucks for you, Mike.
Yep. That's me done. Uninstalled. Dead game.
You can't say that.
I can.
You can't. You'll get in trouble.
If we say it's a joke or not, we'll get in trouble, so it doesn't matter. Sorry, Yannick.
He's not listening to this.
No, he's not. Gets the Thursday. You son of a bitch. Okay, so very quickly, in episodes 2 and 3, we've got Pentagon, The Last Castle. It's coming this fall. Rough guesstimate when we're going to get that, boys, because I'm going to be honest, fall is looking pretty stacked.
End of September.
I agree with that. Hopefully you're not back playing Destiny at that point. So
it
we
might
can
be.
I'm going October because it's 3 months after July.
Isn't Borderlands
Actually,
up?
No, because when we were discussing this last, I was assuming that TU4 was when we were going to get this episode 1, and it's not the case. So, yeah, probably mid-October, I'd say.
Yeah, and then that gives you October. Then you've got November, December, and then
actually no, they might do it end of October because they like to do Halloween-esque stuff, don't they? And when they bring out a new content drop, they tend to do the vanity stuff. So that would be a good shout.
Yes, it would be. Okay, so the Pentagon has been taken over by Black Tusk enemies. It's your job to stop the invading forces to prevent the last secrets being blown out into the open. Obviously, if by then they would have had a bit more time to work on the game, so you're going to get not 2, but 3 missions, 3 new main missions. You're going to have to deal with elevated Black Tusk activity and tackle the missions inside one of America's most iconic buildings.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Do you agree it's the most iconic building?
It doesn't say the most iconic building. It says one of.
One of the
Yes.
most.
Definitely one of the most iconic buildings in America.
I'm asking you, do you think
definitely
it's...
in Washington, yeah.
No, it said America.
Oh.
Stop being pedantic, you fucking arsehole. Let's get on with it.
And we can confirm that the second raid will be added to the
Right.
game
Fuck
Really
yes.
when episode 2, The Last Castle, drops. And you're going to travel...
I hope it's in the Pentagon.
This is... Well, I don't know, because it's saying players will travel to a remote foundry to take on the True Sons.
Well, it bums me out a little bit. I thought it was
Coney
gonna be-
Island it is. It doesn't say where, does it?
No, true.
And episode 3, Brooklyn, Homecoming. Does that mean we're actually going back to... It's Spider-Man Homecoming, Rob. Does that mean we're actually going back to Brooklyn?
Yeah.
They basically say, what if Rebirth is not about bringing the world as we know it back to life, but the complete opposite? One man holds that power, and humanity is at stake. A nemesis is trying to spread the green poison virus, and a showdown is imminent
Spider-Man.
when this episode arrives in 2020. Next year. No, it's not going to be Spider-Man. It's going to be Green Goblin. He's got the green poison virus, right?
Yeah.
But which Green Goblin is it? Is it Norman or is it Harry? Osborn. Luke's just sat here like
I'm pretty sure one of them's called the Green Goblin, one's called something else, aren't they?
the Hobgoblin.
Yeah, there we go. So it's Green Goblin because it's a green poison.
Stop
That
talking.
I
makes-
mean, it makes sense. Or it could be Aaron Keener in a Spider-Man costume.
He's not the savior we want, but it's the only thing we've got.
Wearing a Shade Agent watch.
Why isn't he wearing a Mickey Mouse watch? Spider-Man's owned by Disney.
Because
Because Division's not owned by Disney. Stop
This is-
talking about fucking movies and let's talk about this
it's
game.
copyright, Mike. Jesus. You have to have some subtle differences.
Yes. So, I mean, a lot of people are kind of thinking that Aaron Keener's story is going to be continued in this final episode that's going to take us back to New York City. We've kind of spoiled it already, but we're going to be confronting new challenges at Coney Island, aka Liberty Island.
Yeah. I want to raid on Liberty Island, please.
This is a bit where
Which includes
Luke's just going to fact check and
which-
make sure that we're completely wrong, but there we go.
which includes some gunk that gets covered all over
I just hope.
Lady Liberty, and then she starts walking around the city.
Wait. Didn't we talk about this at some point?
And then we have to listen to
Jackie Wilson,
Jackie Wilson.
Higher and Higher from Ghostbusters 2. I may not have watched that recently.
We've gone high level right now. Luke's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
The only thing is they don't make Nikes in her size, so how the fuck are we going to get her to mainland?
Cats and dogs living together.
Yes, it's true. This man has no dick. Wow. What a hole. Anyway,
Derailed, officially.
Luke, was that enough time for you to figure out whether we were incorrect or not?
No.
It wasn't enough time. Okay,
No, it's
so
not.
Luke. Do you think we're going to see Aaron Keener's story continued without the Spider-Man costume?
Yes, I think that's exactly what they're going to do. They need to tie it off so we
Are
can
we
move
gonna
on. So we can all move on. He's going to die. He's going to bend the knee and he's going to die.
He's going to bend the knee and fucking kill him. I swear fealty, and then you shoot him in the head.
Okay,
Wow.
spoilers. Liberty Island and Coney Island are not the same thing.
No, they're not. They're not. I know that.
Another spoiler, Coney Island isn't actually an island.
Yeah, it's like I thought.
Right.
I feel really let down now. That means we're not going to Liberty Island.
No,
No,
but
it
it is
isn't.
in the pictures.
It is in the pictures, yeah.
And it's next to Coney Island. Like, literally,
It's not next to Coney Island.
you can see it from there.
Maybe.
Sorry, we can just like Rob,
It's
we can just like
it's in the image. It's in the the trailer.
background. Yeah, it's literally going to be in the background, blurred out because of licensing.
It's owned by the French, isn't it? Or was it made by the French?
It was a gift from the French.
It was a gift.
Just-
There you go.
Does that mean they need to ask for permission? Because I mean, technically, Ubisoft is a French company.
Yes, they need to ask for permission. It was a gift to the Americans. That makes it American.
It's like,
If I give you something, it's not mine anymore, is it?
Mm.
I mean, depending on what I give you, obviously.
Luke, do you think we're going to see some returning characters from the Division 1, like Fei Lao? Because obviously we saw her at what some would say is the end of the game. Main campaign. Spoilers.
I think a lot of people would like to. I'm a bit reticent to say we will, to be honest. I think it might be, okay, we've gone back to New York, but we're not giving you everything you want because we want you to buy Division 3.
Yeah. But how fucked up is it going to be if when we load into this episode, because it's Brooklyn Homecoming, we start in exactly the same place as the Division 1?
in a Spider-Man costume.
Ignoring Rob's incessant rambling about Spider-Man costumes, I think
His
that'd be
Disney
actually
watch.
a cool little touch. The thing that makes me think you won't get to see the returning characters is we are completely different agents, aren't we?
Yes, so
Fei
it
Lao
kind of
wouldn't
feels
know
a
who
bit
the fuck
odd.
we are.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Agent, hi, it's great to see you again after, you saved this city and then you went and saved this other one. You're like, no, we're two different people, Doc.
Yeah, but don't you think it's a bit weird that we would be going after Kina? Because surely your agent from the first game really should be finishing their job.
Maybe they're all dead. Maybe Kina killed them all and that's why we're going to try and do it.
So you're
Yeah,
saying,
because in the trailer, New York looks like it's been set on fire and it's been burning for days.
yeah. But didn't they also pick up, like, I can't remember, did they pick up a weapon from a dead agent in that trailer?
No,
Can't
it's from
remember that
Cleaner.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
It wasn't a cleaner. It wasn't a
Because
cleaner.
Yes, it
I
was a
remember
cleaner.
Boris shouting out it was like a golden rhino, wasn't it?
It was a cleaner.
It wasn't a cleaner. It's
It
one
was.
of the flamethrower fucking...
Cleaner.
No! The new... Never
Jake
mind.
Gyllenhaal.
It was a cleaner. He was wearing a freaking bright yellow jacket and he had a flamethrower. It was a cleaner.
And an apron. Wow.
He was wearing Jake Gyllenhaal.
He's wearing
he's the
Jake
voice of
Gyllenhaal
the-
as a bodysuit.
He's the voice of the flamethrower in the new film.
Hey, we just spoilers. We'll get to that bit in a minute. Are you guys happy to be heading back to New York?
Yes.
Why?
Story progression. Let's tie up some loose ends. It might even be story closure.
Yeah,
It might not be a Division 3. This might be it.
I don't know.
Story's finished. Go and find a new game to play.
Yeah, maybe. That's it. Done. You won.
Well, no, they want to tie it off because everyone's like, "What happened to fucking Kina?" So let's just finish that story and then start another one.
Yeah, it gives them the chance
Clean
to
slate.
fix what they didn't do in the Division 1, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, because a lot of people were like, "What? Why don't you finish the story?"
Yeah, that ending where he kind of gets away and
Ambiguous.
that's it. Yeah, it's not great. So I'm kind of looking forward to that side of it. Rob, are you looking forward to going back to New York, and why?
I don't think we'll go back to New York. Technically,
You know what I mean? Are you excited with the idea of going back to a degree?
Yeah, it's content. I'll play it.
I must be like the only one that's not that hyped over this.
If we go back to Brooklyn, because like we were screaming, "Let's go back to Brooklyn! Take us back to Brooklyn!" Like the whole time we were playing Division 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure,
That'd
you
be
need it for
pretty
like
cool.
5 minutes, aren't you?
Yeah, I just I don't know. I feel like maybe everyone's like, yes, we're going back to New York because it's going to be like the Division 1. I'm like,
it won't be like Division 1. It will be
I know.
Division 2 in New York.
No, I know. That's what the way I'm looking at it.
I'm still excited because it's, like I say, rounding off the story of Division 1, hopefully. And then you can, in year 2, you can take the story of Division 2 even further. And then year 3, we find out where Division 3 takes place.
But, like, ignoring the whole story thing, what do you think the content's going to be? Because we're tracking down, like... Do you think it's going to be a game mode? Do you think it's going to be a survival-esque game mode? Like, because we're going back to New York. Do you think...
It would be the best way to kind of rectify the mistakes of the past with survival in New York, wouldn't it? But then, I don't know if that's done and dusted now. I mean, you look at what we're getting...
Yeah, but we've all said survival's coming.
Is it?
And we reckon it's going to be either the end of the year, the Division year, or...
This is what I'm saying. If people are going to expect it's Episode 3, Brooklyn Homecoming.
Yeah, but I'm not meaning like survival as we know it. I mean, because you're tracking down an agent. I mean, that can't be survival, but it depends on... They might drop you in and you have to... Like, Kina could be the hunter sort of thing. Like, not you craft and stuff to make so you can extract your antivirals, but maybe put a twist on that where you're trying to track down Kina and that's the end, like that's the point of the content, but like somehow made that into a survival PvE game. I don't know. Just spitballing, I guess.
I think you're right to some degree. The fact is, if we're going to see anything like that return, it's going to be the end of the year due to the time to work on it. But
I think it's going to be huge, whatever it is. It's going to be massive.
Pun intended.
No, yeah, pun intended.
Yeah, I just think we're getting different experiences now, like this time around. I mean, you look at the experience for expeditions, and then obviously you've got the Pentagon. The Pentagon, I think, I'm going to be honest, I've got to refer to Destiny. The Pentagon, to me, when we've discussed this before, sounds like the Leviathan from Taken King. With regards to like all the secrets and nooks and crannies and all the rest of it. Was it? I'm pretty sure it's the Leviathan, wasn't it? Was it? No. What was it on the... This is a bit where I've got that. That's the Destiny 2, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fuck, not the Leviathan. What was it? What was it, Rob?
You're thinking of Matey's ship in Saturn's rings, right?
Yes. Oryx's ship.
Oryx's ship, yeah.
The Nebuchadnezzar.
The Nebuchadnezzar.
Matrix reference.
Yay. I actually agree with Rob. I think the
Dreadnought.
I think the content drop for episode 1 and 3 will be huge. I think content drop for episode 2 might be a bit smaller. I know it's got more missions in it, but it's when the raid drops. I think the focus will be on the raid. Because to me, they've made the first raid fucking excellent. I love that raid. I've tried to play it nearly every fucking day since it dropped. You do. But yeah, I think episode 2 might suffer because of the raid. I hope it doesn't. I hope I'm wrong. But yeah.
But it doesn't really matter. If that's the content we're going to be playing.
Exactly.
Who gives a shit?
Doesn't matter. But I kind of hope I'm wrong because some people won't like the raid. Some people won't be able to play the raid because they haven't got any people to play with.
So it's fine.
Therefore, I hope the 3 missions that we're getting are good because, everybody likes more story content. So.
But the other thing as well is the fact that we know they're willing to drop raids outside of DLC. The first raid was dropped outside of
that'll be the only one, dude.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Depends how many more we get in the future. They're not just going to stop at 2 raids, surely.
No, but it would be pretty cool if we ended episode 3 in Brooklyn, New York, whatever, with a raid. That would be pretty cool.
All right, let's move on, shall we?
Yeah. Are you happy with the content that we're going to get for year 1 from the news that we've heard this week?
Yes.
No.
At this time, for people that necessarily haven't purchased the season pass yet, obviously this is only going to give you a week's head start, I believe, on the content. Would you recommend getting the season pass off what you know now?
No.
Okay. Luke?
As the only one of the three of us that's not bought it yet, yes, I would. I'm going to buy it before TU4.
Before next week?
Yes.
Okay.
I know when TU4 is coming out, Mike. I heard you say it earlier.
I'm just double checking.
Okay.
Final question on episodic content. When do you guys think we're going to get Keanu Reeves in the Division?
I'm pretty sure he plays Hina, right?
Keanu. Good work. Technically, we don't know who Aaron Keener is yet, so just saying. I'm going to be honest, guys. He fucking
It's Feilal's alter ego.
what? Keanu Reeves?
No, Kino. She's double agent the whole time.
Yeah, she broke her own leg.
Yep.
Makes sense.
She crashed the helicopter in the first place.
Are we going to see any crashed helicopters because we're going back to New York? Sorry, we're getting off track. The final bit of news from E3. I know you guys are all excited about it.
Hell yeah.
The Division 2 is coming to the Stadia, Google's venture into cloud-based
don't give a shit about that.
gaming.
I thought you were talking about the film.
Oh, no. We're good. That's the last bit now. Are you excited about the Stadia? The only way I'll say it's good is for people that don't want to fork out money for a gaming PC. And I'm guessing this is going to give the people.
You have to use a controller on the Stadia.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's the first step into cloud-based gaming, isn't it? We already know that Xbox and PlayStation are prepping their consoles. PlayStation 5, Xbox,
It's
whatever the fuck you want to call it.
repackaged NVIDIA Shield.
So Rob's saying, just buy the NVIDIA Shield.
No, because it's not very well supported. If you're thinking about buying a Shield, buy a Stadia. Same price.
Or spend your money on a real Shield. Just saying.
What?
Buy a replica Captain America Shield.
How are you going to watch TV on that?
In its reflection, Rob. I'll turn my TV on, face backwards, and I'll watch it in the reflection.
That makes sense, I guess.
It does. Okay, so let's move on to the final point of today's episode. The Division movie. Obviously, huge new news. There's going to be a movie adaptation of The Division, boys.
If this is anything like my prediction, it won't be because my prediction was ridiculous. But if it's anything like my prediction, I'm going to sue someone.
Can we just take a second to kind of think, like, everyone's flipping out over the fact there's a Division movie announced. Was no one around 3 years ago when this first got announced?
Yeah, this has been announced that's why I was like, the other day we were talking about it, I was like, I'm pretty sure it's going to come out fairly soon because Jake Gyllenhaal has been attached to this film for a long time. So it must be almost done, surely.
Both Gyllenhaal and Jessica Chastain were pretty much in it from the get-go, weren't they? They were the two names that were announced when they announced that a movie was being made. It's the director that got added to it later, isn't it?
Yeah, David Leitch, most people would know him from Deadpool 2. Obviously the upcoming Hobbs and Shaw Fast and Furious spin-off, if you're a fan of that franchise. John Wick, he was one of the directors of that, along with Chad, I can't remember the guy's second name.
Kroger?
Yeah,
See,
Kroger.
When we were talking about Division 1 news still, and we said on the podcast that David Leitch had attached himself as director to this movie, that he was going to be making the Fast and Furious spin-off first. So we knew this gap in news was coming.
But this is the thing that's making me like, Rob's like, it's done almost, and Netflix has bought it. I don't think we're quite there yet. I think they've just made the deal to finance it, and this is why it's now officially been announced, because like Hobbs and Shaw isn't even out yet. You've got the press run. They're probably editing.
No, they're
Yeah,
on
but
Shaw,
right.
Let's not forget that obviously the director would have. I mean, obviously he's going to have some input in post production and all that sort of shit, but not as much input as when they were actually filming.
Oh,
So he can
More
be
importantly, do we know who the writer is?
well, he can be refining the script with Netflix and their writing team, can't he? Because Netflix, if they bought the rights to this, they'll want their own input too. They'll be like, no, this bit's shit, keep that
Do you
bit.
reckon Mr.
Throw
Irvine
some more
might have
money
had
at this
an
bit.
input?
I don't know. I'm trying to.
Would make sense, right?
It would.
Yes.
It would make sense. Just seeing if I can get details. I thought I did see a writer attached to it then, but I could be completely wrong. Apologies, this is not very good.
I like that a member of Ubisoft is attached as producer. Gerard Guillemot.
Yeah, Gyllenhaal's producing with him. So the fact that Gyllenhaal's producing means, I gotta be honest, like,
Do you reckon Jake plays the game?
No.
No? Why would you say that? Do you reckon he's not got enough time to grind?
I don't see Jake as a gamer. I mean, I might be completely nutterly wrong. He might be fucking.
We can get him on the show.
He might be a secret member of
Do you
POG.
reckon we could send him an email and try and get him on the podcast.
I
think he might be a bit busy for us.
Yeah. I mean, he's filming a whole.
Well, yeah, but they do like they do like tours, don't they? They do like publicity tours for films and shit. We might be able to get
he'll be
interview.
on like Graham Norton and Jonathan Ross, not fucking SITREP Radio.
Well,
Right, okay. So there was a.
we can try. I mean, there's no harm in sending an email.
If you don't ask, you don't get sort of
Yeah.
approach. Yes, I agree with you, but
I'm gonna do it.
I'd expect a no, dude. However, if you do get Jake Gyllenhaal on the show, could you then try and get Jessica Chastain on the show too?
Oh hell yeah! Yeah. Come as a package, right?
Okay, so there is actually a writer for the film. His name is Rafe Judkins, and he's got such credits as Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the Wheel of Time production, which is based on a book.
So far, so good.
So far, so good.
So good.
Survivor TV series, Law and Order,
Oh,
Chuck,
oh hell yeah!
yes,
Comedic props.
and apparently he's written on the screenplay for the Uncharted film, starring Tom Holland. So that's
I
not
told my
bad.
wife that he was going to be Nathan Drake. She's like, no. What the fuck? What are they doing?
But yeah, I mean, we've known about the news for a while. I think it's just kind of been drips and drabs over the last 3 years. Obviously, the movie got announced due to the fact that the Division sold really fucking well. And then Jake Gyllenhaal was attached to it alongside Jessica Chastain. And then not long after Deadpool came out, I think David Leitch's name was actually attached to the Division film.
Will it be based in New York, do you reckon?
I don't know. I
Like
got
the
a funny
first-
feeling.
I think it'd have to
Game.
be. Yeah.
And then do you reckon they'll make a second one that's based in DC?
It depends. This really depends, doesn't it?
Personally think you'll see elements of both games in the movie, and then you will see a sequel if, first of all, the movie does well, second of all, if they make all games.
My worry is there isn't a decent film based on a computer game.
Yes, I was going to
Ever
mention this
made.
later.
Yes,
I can
it
see
is.
Mike thinking and smoking.
Dead or Alive.
Edge of Tomorrow. It's the closest you're going to get to a computer game.
It's not a great movie,
What?
dude.
What? It is a good movie.
That's not a video game.
It might as well be a video game, though. It's the closest to a video game movie that you're going to get.
I suppose Groundhog Day would apply for that as well then, I guess.
Yeah.
That's a great movie.
Yeah. That's a great video game that is actually being turned into a video game. No joke.
I can believe that.
How do you guys, I mean, the biggest news basically, obviously it was being announced at E3, so it's definitely still happening 3 years later. We know these things take ages to get into fruition, but the big news, Netflix has bought the film. How do you guys feel about that?
I think it's great. Netflix didn't do anything wrong.
I only see it as a good thing as well. A lot of Netflix movies go under the radar and are brilliant. Netflix can throw all the money at this because, you know, there's 3 of us in this room currently and we've all got Netflix. So, you know, that's 100% coverage, right? Everybody's got Netflix. So
yeah, I think I completely agree with you. Like the fact that everybody has Netflix, this is obviously where all the creative people are going now because they don't have to worry about Netflix are trying to get big budget directors and trying to bring people to their platform to create good movies. We discussed it last year. I don't know if we discussed it on our Patreon. What was the film with Sandra Bullock? I've completely forgotten
Bird Box.
Bird Box. And that had a trailer, and that was it. There was no marketing. That film did really well over the fact that it was just word of mouth. Word of mouth for that film pushed how far that film went. Obviously, Sandra Bullock being on Netflix.
It's a big name, isn't it? But
Yeah.
I mean, Chastain and Gyllenhaal are pretty fucking up there as well, to be fair to them.
A-listers. They're
Yeah.
and Mr. Leitch.
Yeah,
pretty
it's
big
a good
right now.
It's a good trio to have. If you were going to handpick 3 names to be associated with a new movie on Netflix that was about your favorite ever video game, it doesn't get much better than those 3, does it? So
As for the film, what are you expecting? A super serious? Or are we expecting like Deadpool 2 sense of humor because of David Leitch being? Do you want a super straight film, or do you want like some humor in there?
rather than it being very, very set in humor like Deadpool 2, which has obviously got a lot to do with Ryan Reynolds as well as, I think it's going to be more like John Wick's type humor, where there's
a dry,
the odd dry joke mixed in,
pun,
maybe
the
broke the
dry
4th
pun.
wall once or twice, but then it's going to be a pretty serious, you know, the world's burning disaster movie type adaptation.
Do you
That's
think
my
they do
take
the
on it anyway.
whole? Did you ever watch was it the Doom movie with
No.
The Rock.
The Rock, where at the end they go into like first person shooter mode, and they like literally there's like a 10-minute scene where he's like first person shooter. I reckon they'll do something similar to that.
I hope not. That sounds shit. I haven't seen that movie, but that sounds awful.
No, it was
No.
really good. It was really well done, but
No, I think it, like, obviously, David Leitch, he's a stunt coordinator. He's worked with Chad
Kroger.
Can't remember that fucking guy's name, but I've seen John Wick 3 and the fight scenes and the action shots and like how they clear, like how Keanu Reeves clears a room and all the rest of it is fucking awesome. And if they bring that kind of tactical awareness and just the action
Sounded.
shots and how that's all put together to the Division
Situational
film,
awareness.
you don't need this whole fucking first person view and all the rest of it.
You've got the potential for this to be awesome because you've got Netflix, which is big budget. You've got
Yes.
Chastain and Gyllenhaal, big budget. You've got David Leitch, big budget. And you've got the potential for this video game, which is obviously, as I said before, it's just got disaster movie written all over it, hasn't it? You know, the world's burning. They'll perhaps take it a bit further than the video games do because, you know, that's how movie adaptations of video games always take shit. I think the only downside is that, like Rob correctly pointed out earlier, is the track record of video games being turned into movies is pretty shit.
I
But
think it depends.
There's always an exception to every rule, isn't there? And this could be it. I'm not saying it will be. I'm
because the
saying it
Division
could be.
storyline is so open. They
Yes.
could literally do anything they fucking want.
But this is what I'm going to say now, right? When the film comes out, do not expect anything like the game that we've got.
Expect the
storyline.
unexpected.
You will probably have the bare basics. Will be agents in a city looking for the bad guy. and
Yeah.
you'll
They'll
probably have the
a
green
watch
poison
with a
virus.
orange
Yeah.
ring on them. That'll be
Yeah.
it.
I'd love the Hunters to be in the movie, though.
Not going to happen.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I mean,
I mean, every movie
like
needs
to-
a bad guy, so maybe.
we like to say we'd want the Hunters and everything on this show, though, don't we? So, why not try
I've
and get them in
got
the movie as well?
Thanos the Hunter.
I've got faith they're going to have a decent enough budget to do it, so they're not going to cut back so much.
I don't know. It depends how much Jessica and Jake cost.
Well, I mean, Jake's already doing films for Netflix. He did
Yeah.
Velvet Buzzsaw. He did Okoye. Is it Okoye? I can't. I don't know. How
He's
you
got a
say
few
it.
on Netflix, though, hasn't he?
Yeah, there's a
I don't-
few on there. For Netflix.
I don't think the actor budget will be a problem. Like the names you can reel off that have done Netflix movies, it's not a problem, is it? So
No, because they're allowed to do. They're allowed to have creative choices. Also, the fact that Gyllenhaal's producing with Ubisoft's Gerard Gyllenhaal.
Also, he's getting 2 paychecks. Well, there you go.
Ooh,
Problem
that's-
solved.
it's
That
all
is
a
a-
big paycheck.
that is a way that they work extra salary into actors as paychecks, isn't it? Because
Yes.
you see a lot of actors and actresses that
Producer
get
roles, yeah.
producer roles that they don't do an awful lot for that extra paycheck.
Not everyone does, but I expect some of them do. Because,
Yes, yeah,
like,
I know. I'm not saying that.
No. I'm just like, there's different types of producers, and I can imagine someone like Jake is gonna be like, I'm not comfortable with doing that.
I love that
Do you know what I mean?
we're on first name basis of Jake and Jessica.
Yeah,
We'll just suck on her Jess. Yeah.
My mate Jess.
Am I excited for this? Yes.
Yeah, we're going to get them on podcast. Fuck yeah.
But I think the best thing about Netflix is they don't have to worry about box office at all. I think that's the best thing that comes from this at all. The fact it's going to hit millions of people's homes without having to worry, this video game movie came out and it did terrible at the box office.
Yeah.
We're not going to hear that because Netflix don't share anything for their viewership. Now and then they'll share a percentage of how many people actually watched it out of the millions of people that own Netflix.
Yeah, they dropped that information for Bird
So
Box,
it's-
didn't they? To be
it's-
fair.
Yes, they did.
The
It's
popularity
win-win.
is going to be how word of mouth travels, right?
Basically, if you're a fan of The Division, you're going to be able to watch this film at home. And that's it.
On release.
On release. And there's a
Right.
few films I've watched on Netflix that have been pretty fucking good. I can't think.
Okay,
There are
this
some
isn't an
really good
advert for
movies on there.
Netflix. Come on, let's
Oh,
stop
no,
right now.
Sorry.
I'll tell you the other
Not
good thing that
sponsored.
it is with Netflix getting the rights for this is there's going to be less restrictions, less red tape involved. Netflix can literally do what the fuck they want.
Plus, it can be R-rated.
Yeah.
It can be whatever fucking rating it needs to be. You're going to see shit. Like, the game's what, 16 plus? I don't know. I can't remember the
Peggy
last time.
18.
Surely it's 18, yeah.
Or it's 18. So this could be an 18 rated film. We don't know.
I see
It
some
just
babies.
means they can push the boundaries as much as they want
Hey,
with this.
Jess.
If they bring some of the factions into the movie, I know you've said you'll probably get the absolute bare bones, but if they bring some of the factions into the movie and you think back to some of the cinematic video clips you unearthed in the first game where they were
Jake
torturing people
Gyllenhaal.
and whatever, they could bring some of that to
Yes.
the movie. That would definitely make it
An undercover agent
18 plus, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I just
as a cleaner.
I think they can do it really well. And like Rob said, they've left the first game especially is left open enough. You can do whatever the fuck you want with it. And I'm saying, like, don't expect to have the exact storyline because I think that's the letdown, isn't it? You watch
What
a
if
film.
Jessica Chastain is Faye Lau
What, in makeup?
and she has a busted leg the whole movie?
Yes.
Why does she have to be Faye Lau?
Well, I don't know.
I mean, I'm there's the potential to be massively, massively wrong here, but they're just going to be agents, aren't they? Both of them, because Chastain's got that in her locker.
She
from,
could be a doctor or something for all we know that he has to
yeah.
go rescue. Like, do you know what I mean? I can see that kind of playing out. It's going to be the
She could be
plot
the baddie.
It could
He
be the
could be
plot
the
of
baddie.
That'd be
It could-
new.
It could be the plot of Men in Black. Hey, Rob,
The new one or the original one?
the original one. Don't go see the new one. Apparently, it's terrible. I'm not going to go down the road, but
It's Ragnarok too, right?
I got 4 out of 10.
Because the amount of numbers it gets out of 10 is important to people's opinions.
Yes. We'll go see
No.
Dark
It is to
Phoenix, right? Go see Dark Phoenix, right? The best thing I'm going to say about Netflix, though, is if this film does really well, we could see more of the franchise.
A
That is
sequel?
Yes.
A TV movie? Sorry, a TV show.
Let's
Spin-off.
also remember that if this film does well, it's just good news for Ubisoft.
Yeah, because it opens up their...
It's going to be more money for them at the absolute bare basics of it, because they're obviously going to have retained some sort of
Cool, they own the rights, so
percentage.
they must be earning some.
But then,
some
you
dollar.
know, if the movie does brilliant, it will bring more people to the game. They'll be like, oh, go and check that game out for that movie that was really good.
But it's not just that.
And then
they're-
push you for more sequels of
Well, it's
both movies and games.
Yeah, but it's not just that. We know Ubisoft has like a film division. They've been pushing films for a while. I mean, we've had Prince of Persia, we've had Assassin's Creed, and like
They both suck.
So what you're
Assassin's
saying-
Creed didn't do very well. But if it works on Netflix,
So what
Right.
you're saying is, if the Division movie on Netflix does well, we'll get a Rainbow Six Siege movie.
Oh, hell yeah.
that would be fucking good. Yes,
I'm on board.
Jake Gyllenhaal, right? I'd be
Fresh
on board.
from Saving New York, Jake Gyllenhaal
He
stars
would be
in.
fucking
He would.
Buck, wouldn't he?
He'd be
Yes,
perfect as
he
Buck,
would.
yeah.
How many times have we said he looks like Buck in fucking Rainbow Six?
Oh, yeah.
That's my favorite fucking character from Rainbow Six. As well.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I have no problems.
You could put Statham in it as one of the fucking SAS guys.
Yeah.
He could be Sledge.
You could be Sledge, yeah. Hell yeah.
Oh, mate, I've got a fucking hammer.
I've got a fucking hammer for you.
And I'm a marine
gonna hammer
biologist.
you to shit.
Like we've gone completely off track, but yeah, I'm on board with all the talent. Netflix, 100%. Very quick. David Leitch was obviously one of the
Wants
directors
to
of
get on
John
the
Wick.
podcast.
Shut up, Rob.
Okay.
He made Atomic Blonde that I doubt anybody's
I've seen that.
Seen
That
it.
was shit.
Well, that's your opinion.
Kind of enjoyed it. I won't
I
say it was
enjoyed
great.
it a
but
lot. And he was a stuntman in the film Basketball that I know you guys love as well.
I love basketball. I'm not sure you need many stuntmen in
Yeah,
basketball, but still.
what the fuck was he stunting? Who was he stuntman for? Squeak.
Squeak.
I almost said Screech. Squeak, yeah. And apparently he also worked. Apparently I know he also worked on the Matrix franchise. That's how they met Keanu Reeves,
Whoa.
Cool.
and he's done a lot of second unit action shots for the division, the Turtle films.
Yeah,
You know?
you should have left that bit off.
Yeah.
Pretty sure he's done second unit for Marvel as well. I think Civil War. Could be wrong on that, but
Shall we move on to questions and feedback, please?
yes.
Yeah, this is dragging on a bit.
Sorry, boys.
You
People are,
pee.
people are
Alright.
asleep by now.
Okay. Whilst Robert goes for a pee, Luke, do you want to take the first question?
So our good buddy Seamaster GMT from our Discord says, I am super hyped for the coming content. The zoo looks like it will be epic. Pentagon, I am skeptical about, as my understanding of the layout of the place is mostly just hallways and doors. Coney Island on the Hovland looks pretty cool. Anyway, any way you slice it, this looks to be a great bit of content that's upcoming.
Pentagon might be just a series of hallways and doors, but we don't know what's underneath it. Just saying.
Yeah.
True story. True
Okay.
story.
I mean, a lot of the DC stuff is done from like satellite imaging. They obviously don't have satellite imaging of inside the Pentagon, so they probably just made it up. I mean, I don't expect anyone's really got any pictures of inside the Pentagon for good reasons. So I imagine it's just going to be a lot of stuff they've just made up. So that, yeah.
Well, they've done a pretty good job of all the other.
I mean, it's not going to be accurate, but it'll be fun. That's more important, right?
Yeah.
Depends what's happened to the Pentagon before we get there.
Yeah, you
doesn't
might
it?
get blown to shit.
Yeah, might be loads of walls and doors missing.
Yeah.
It's just going to be one
It might
big
be
open
an
plan
octagon
fucking
by the time
playground.
we get there.
Wow. Wow. That was foxy, were they? Okay, so Hero 1897 says, big long-time fan. Are you three running the current all damage talents build meta even outside of the raid? Do you use loadouts situationally outside the raid? Thanks for your time and keep up the great work. Apologies for the long episode. Rob, do you use the meta build?
Sort of. I have my own twist on it because I can't have all the bits because it's impossible.
Rob is helping shape the meta with some of his builds, to be fair to him.
Sometimes.
Luke?
I'm getting there. I don't use all the damage talents. As we mentioned earlier in the podcast, I can't stand on the ropes. It just doesn't work with my playstyle. But I mean, that's me. That's the whole point of them being multiple talents in the game, right? But yeah, I prefer to go sort of unstoppable force route for my builds, and for PvE, obviously just stack as much hard hitting as possible. Is the other question, do you use loadout situation outside of the raid? Sort of.
I feel like once you've got a build put together, especially for PvE content, you kind of just use it for the same thing, don't you?
Yeah.
I have multiple builds. But like,
no, you do.
I have multiple characters as well, and they all have multiple builds. So
Yeah.
it's like, I definitely switch about a lot.
My second character's level 21, so hopefully by next week be level 30, and then I can start putting other builds together, because at the moment I've got 2 PvE builds, a PvP build, a sniper build, and a merciless build. There are other builds that I want to put together. I haven't really used SMGs. Skill build, maybe. And then there's the gear sets, isn't there? You know, aces and eights, tip of the spear.
I've got like a load of test loadouts.
I'm missing 2 pieces to get all 3 of the new sets.
Nice, man.
Nice.
Yeah, I've got a couple of test loadouts. I think I've still got my Vector loadout, and I'm still running my LMG. But I mean, Rob's probably gonna have more of an idea than me. Is my build meta or not?
No,
I have
not anymore.
It's not.
No.
There you go. I'm not using the meta build. I don't know. I quite like my build. I don't know if it's any good, but I enjoy.
You should definitely keep hold of it, because I think when they improve skills, which they have said they're going to do, it's going to come back. The whole on the ropes builds are going to be.
I don't feel like they're a bad thing at the minute. It just depends, I think, what you're playing. I've not had a problem with it, but then I'm not running PvP or anything like that with it. So
No.
For me, it's just the raid. And I've got spotter. I can't remember what I've got on my gloves and all the rest of it, because now I've pieced it all together. But I've got basically high skill power, low cooldown, with quite a bit of damage, and it just leaves me.
Spotter works well with on the ropes, and then if you can be sucked back to 3 damage chance, you can use what's the talent on my gloves? Shit, can't remember. It gives you 15% extra weapon damage for having just 3 damage hands, basically.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Oh, is it the same one that works on low crit chance as well?
Yes, that one. Yeah,
Is that uncomplicated?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Compensated.
That's it. Yeah.
I haven't got that. That's the only thing I don't have. I think I've got destructive.
Yeah, because if you can run compensated and on the ropes, and then spotter when you haven't got on the ropes, then yeah, you're still doing that's like 35% weapon damage, like constantly there.
Yeah, I'm not quite there.
Spotters.
I'd have to lower quite a bit, but I mean that's all stacked into weapon damage as much as possible. I've got DTE on it and critical hit damage, but then how often am I going to crit damage? It's more so weapon damage than anything. But yeah, thank you very much for your question. Bori the Blade said, just thought this whilst making dinner. You fellas think that maybe with the second raid against the True Sons, is this when they'll include the difficulty changes to the first raid, Operation Dark Hours? Robert?
No, I think we'll get that before the second raid. I think that might come in the hiatus between the first update and the second update.
Yeah, we'll probably see that in a title update over the next 3 months, I would expect.
Yeah, I would hope.
Hope so.
I'd agree with that.
Luke, do you want to take the next one?
Mr. Stiv1313 on Twitter says, "Hey, Division Games, SITREP Radio heard the idea of puzzles in the raid. How about a sneak puzzle similar to Gorgons in Vault of Glass? You could use turrets with audio or sonar tracking and maybe include a disarm feature to make you quieter. Just some thoughts."
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he sent this in over Twitter, and I was like, that is totally the sort of shit that we're on about.
Definitely.
In between the raid
IFM,
bosses.
baby.
Before
Yes.
you two go any further, can I just say that I hate both of you, that I knew what VOG meant without me ever playing that fucking raid?
What is it?
Basically,
Glass.
in the raid, Luke, there's like, you jump down from one of the first challenges. No, is the second boss, right? You jump down. There's a maze, right? There's a maze. But in this
It was
maze,
amazing.
is these enemies that if they see you, the whole team wipes, right?
Maze.
So you kind of have to like tippy-toe around, get behind them so they don't see you. And then you have to like run. And then you tippy-toe. Then you run. And then you tippy-toe. And then you jump down. And then you run. And then you're out of it.
And make sure you get the right turning.
But there's 6 of you, right? And if one of you gets seen, you're fucked. You're dead. There was like a combination. When I say accommodation, there was like an award for killing one of them, which you can do.
But
You could physically kill them, but you would have to put out so much damage that it's more than Razorback, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, so that would be... Imagine that with turrets. That would be brilliant.
I'm trying to look like I care what you're talking about right
You
now.
don't give a shit.
No, but if you could put a Division spin on that, then
it
yeah,
would be
great.
really good.
That
yeah.
was perfect. Yeah. Thank you that is literally, if you've got any other ideas that you want to send in to us, someone said that is kind of the thoughts that we were thinking about with regards to last week's podcast, episode 162, where we were basically saying we love the raid. It would just be nice to have something else in between each boss section to just kind of break it up a little bit more than the ads that we've got. Anyway, moving on. Something we completely forgot to talk about, boys. We were for 2, maybe 4 frames in the thank you trailer at the beginning of E3 on Monday this week.
Oh, lovely.
We put a post up on Twitter, and Sticks to Sporks says, that's awesome. You guys deserve it. He asked about the PlayStation 4 clan. I know that's in progress, and the invites are all kind of going through at the minute due to in real life stuff. But he did say, thank you very much. Love the show, by the way. Been listening for almost 2 years now. It's crazy.
Wow.
That's awesome. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And another question or feedback from Hero1897. I'm going to leave this one to Luke.
I don't want to read out my own praise.
Come on. Oh,
Come on.
Someone do it.
Somebody else read it.
Come on.
Come on, Luke.
I'm not reading it. I can't read.
Wow, what a way to make this awkward, boys. Well done. Give yourself a pat on the back. Okay, so he says, tip the hat to SITREP Luke on this week's podcast for mentioning what...
And he goes on to say, what a cunt.
For mentioning what it seems many tend to forget in a lot of looters, shooters, which is balance. So many players out there wanted to change every and any stat roll or talent all too often when given that level of wants. They don't realize whatsoever. There's no need to shoot for more loot. The hunt for that near perfect piece is gone, and that's why he loves this game. I assume as many do, that's why there's no more optimization stations. Something that Luke has been very vocal about on the podcast.
I'm glad I didn't read that, because the pictures I was most are spread over like several different pictures.
Well, no, there's just 2 screenshots.
No, there isn't.
Can't read.
No offense, but Rob would have made a mess of that.
Yeah, I would have done.
He'd have read bits.
For sure. I would have read it word for word, and it would have sounded like fuck.
But yeah, thanks for the feedback and the praise, Hero. Glad you liked it, dude.
Luke, do you want to take the last one?
Yeah, so Wilco from a podcast that hasn't finished the raid yet wants to know that he would like a skill tree for crafting and recalibrating the Division 2 that is unlocked after my specialization is mixed, so I can grind towards making my crafted items less RNG based and more relevant to Gear Score 500 gameplay. He tagged us and Bombshell Jackets in the same tweet.
Skill tree for calibrate. Yeah, that makes sense. You ain't gonna get it, but yeah.
I think it's his own IFM.
Yeah, that's a good idea, but
I wonder if he's thinking, like if you've got a skill tree, then you'll be able to unlock like 2 attributes or whatever, or change like attribute and talents, and that's kind of what he's thinking with regards to the skill tree. Because I was listening to their podcast, and they're not very happy with the fact that you can't do that. Just thought I'd put that out there, which is quite interesting to have Hero 1897 say, "I'm glad that it is the way it is." So,
but that's another instance of balance, isn't it? You know, you've got some players who've got a lot of time to do what we do and what Hero does. You know, shoot for loot, and then you've got people like Wilco, who unfortunately does like 4 podcasts. He's recently just got married. He's got kids. He's his own boss.
Probably pays about 4 hours a week.
Yeah, he only meets up with the rest of the Locked On crew once a week to try and do the raid. So, I mean, I've currently got the world's smallest violin playing in my ear, but
I mean, we're starting to see videos come out now. I'm pretty sure like Butter's put one out now.
Who gives a shit?
With regards to loot drops, the issue with the Division 2 loot drops and all the rest of it. But I kind of feel like that is kind of...
It's an RNG-based game. Shut the fuck up.
Okay, so we're going to finish that questions and feedback segment on Rob's last words. Thank you very much for sending in your questions and feedback. Obviously, these are just our thoughts. If you have any issues or want to add to the discussion with everything that we've talked about today, please let us know on Discord, Twitter, Facebook, and on the YouTube comment section. Before we do go, I just want to ask you boys, are there any, I know you've had a fun week. You raided with the Locked On lads. Would you, want to give them any pointers or tips for next time they try raiding?
Get 8 people together. That's a pretty obvious pro tip. They were let down badly on, what day was it, Rob? Saturday, was it? It must have been the weekend. Yeah. It was definitely the weekend, wasn't it? Because they were all down Australia. Didn't go quite according to plan. So there was me.
Well, no, not everyone turned up, so it's not.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It didn't go according to plan. They'd got 5 people together, didn't they? So me, you, and Deadlift Dave jumped in. So hopefully,
and Boris. Was Boris
there? No, Boris wasn't there. Boris was doing his brakes on his devil car. But yeah, the 8th person never turned up, so we.
Oh, it was Doc. It was Doc that was there.
We were loading in at Razorback because that's the checkpoint that they'd got to. So they've progressed nicely through the raid for what is a podcast that can only do it once a week.
Yeah,
Razorback's the easiest bit.
I agree with Rob. They'll get it. Just want to give them a quick shout out that 8 people makes it a lot easier.
I apologize. I couldn't be there.
No, you don't.
Oh, if I'd have been there, you might have got it done because I would have been an 8th person.
Yeah, true. Before we go,
Rob looks like he's going to say something before you. You all right there, Rob?
I'm fine.
Okay, you sure?
Yeah.
So, quick shout out to Boris, Borry the Blade,
Borry the Builder.
He's leaving Europe very, very soon because he's
Borry the Spoon, Borry the Tweaker. He goes with many names.
He's a man of many faces too.
Uh-huh.
Man of many names, only one face, and it's
Borry
fucking ugly.
Borry the Short Round.
Borry the Pizza Lover.
Borry the
Jalapeno Dave.
Anyway, fucking shut up. He's getting restationed out in America, or going home, I suppose is the correct phrase. So he's doing a Leaving Europe 12-hour stream this Friday, which is the 14th of June. That is 7 p.m. Central European time through to roughly 7 a.m. or when he falls asleep, I guess. So if you can, and you have time on Friday to check him out on twitch.tv/BorryTheBlade, please do. There'll be various people joining him throughout the 12 hours because,
Yeah, check him off follow.
His usual team, i.e. us, will be asleep at some point that night. So, what games is he playing? Division 1, Division 2, probably some Siege, Stick Fight, which is a game we played on Nintendo Switches at Gamescom last year when we met Boris. PUBG, Forza 4, I think he said. Various games. So,
and
check him out.
I think he's playing Destiny as well. He's going to take a
he's
playthrough.
fucking not.
He's not playing Destiny.
It would be funny if he did. No, it'd be sad to see him go.
Yeah, I'm really upset.
You sound it wrong.
When we met him at Gamescom, he was like, "Oh yeah, I might be." I don't think he really knew then, but like over the course of this last year, it's been, "Oh, I might be leaving. Oh, I might be staying," and then he got confirmed that he was definitely leaving, and then it's like, "Oh, but don't worry about it. That's like 6 months away." Now it's like fucking a month.
Friday.
Well, no, Friday's his goodbye stream because he needs to start packing up the
He's going to be
computer
still
and stuff.
playing his laptop, isn't he?
Yeah, be playing on his laptop for a little bit, but he won't be streaming. I think they do leave at some point in July. Then it's going to have 2 months of going dark where he just visits family.
Never going to play with him ever again.
We will, but not very often.
It's going to be sad.
It is sad.
Sorry, you can play with him on your,
You have to like
Friday
stay up
afternoon.
in the middle of the night and just.
There might have to be a regular Friday stay up all night just so we can play with Boris sort of fucking arrangement made.
Well, Boris lives by the rule that there's no sleep till Brooklyn.
Yeah, he doesn't. It's going to be him that's not going to sleep and play with us.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
You know, he won't be able to. He'll be at work when we're playing. It's not that he won't be
plays at
asleep.
work, though.
Yeah, but he will have to keep, like, we can't raid with him when he has to keep dropping out to.
Yeah, he will.
Deal
Take
with
time off.
customers
I
and stuff.
guarantee it. As long as we get enough notice, please, Division. At least 5 days.
Yes, I agree. We'll take time off. That's not what I was talking about. Yes, he plays the game at work, but he has to keep dipping in and out of being online because of customers and actually doing some work. Ain't going to be raiding with us for 5 hours when he's got fucking work to do.
As well. Why is it work?
Yeah, it's catnaps. I was going to say, yeah, Boris doesn't sleep. He goes by that rule, no sleep till Brooklyn. Well, if there's no sleep till Brooklyn, he's got till episode 3 next year without any sleep, so we should be good to catch up at some point.
If he doesn't sleep on a Friday night, he could play with me and Rob on Saturday daytime. But that
Yeah,
doesn't really help
we can
you,
play with
Rob.
them on Saturdays, can't we? When Mike's looking after my kids.
Which seems to be a regular occurrence now. I'm just waiting for the day they turn around and go, Dad.
I like you better than my weekday dad. Oh, your weekend dad, Mike.
Anyway,
Weekend
with
daddy.
all harshness there, thank you to everyone who sent in questions and feedback. Please go give Borry the Tweaker a follow and a watch this weekend. We will be there as well. Roberts, do the thing that you do.
I read badly. You can find us over at SITREP Radio on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, as well as on our personal accounts. Personal account.
No, dude, you got it fine. You did it fine.
Did I do it fine? Did I?
You did it fine.
Sounded fucked up in my head then. Send any questions or feedback for the show to sitradiopod@gmail.com, or you can find us on Discord. The link will be in the show notes. We want to hear your thoughts on the news and the topics we cover, so be sure to leave a comment and join the discussion in any of those places. Luke?
I'm not sure you've ever read it worse.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Please leave a review of the show using the podcast app of your choice. We really do enjoy reading all your feedback. It's usually excellent, and at the end of the day, it does actually help other people to find our show. If you listen all the way to the very end of this podcast, you will hear all the juicy details about the other awesome shows that are available on the Mash Those Buttons network. Thank you.
I'm going to be honest. This podcast is, let's see, pushing almost 2 hours. No one's listening to the end of the podcast, but if you do, you can check out the fact that we live stream as often as we can if you're interested in dropping by and chatting with us whilst you play, and we play the Division at the same time. Look, we can play it together. You can find us over at twitch.tv/SITREP Radio. Robert.
Yes.
Luke.
Yes.
Hi.
Oh, that's not me.
We have been SITREP Radio, guys. Thank you very much for listening, agents, and we will catch you in title update 4, possibly. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Sequence complete. Security protocols deactivated. Server data replaced and CPU destroyed. Terminating connection in 3, 2, 1.
You're listening to a Mash Those Buttons podcast. Visit mashthosebuttons.com for a full podcast schedule.
Cargo secured. Extract